Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Foxborough, Massachusetts, Gillette Stadium, to be exact, for this MLS Next Pro Matchday 12 meeting between New England Revolution 2 and Chicago Fire FC 2 on MLSNextPro.com. Sean St. Jacques here with you. Happy to have you with us for a really fun Eastern Conference matchup this evening. We take a look at the Eastern Conference table coming into this evening's meeting. New England Revolution 2 trying to keep pace with Crown Legacy, who keep on rolling at the top of the table. Chicago coming off a huge victory to end an 8-game winless run last time out, hoping that a win tonight to make it 2 in a row could see them vault a few spots up the table as well. It is the third all-time meeting between these two. It's been tight in the first two meetings. Each squad has gotten a win. Both meetings coming in the inaugural season of MLS Next Pro. And Chicago looking to finally turn a corner. They've been so close to doing so for the last few weeks. They finally get a victory last time out. Can they carry that momentum with them on the road here to Foxborough to take on one of the class teams in the league in New England Revolution 2, who are looking to not only compete for an Eastern Conference crown, but possibly challenge for the whole kit and caboodle as well. Let's dive into tonight's starting lineups for both teams. Clint PA's group, the host tonight, New England, look like this. It's a very strong midfield. Jack Panayiotou leads that midfield. Up front, Malcolm Fry and Peyton Miller will hope to provide great service to Jordan Adebayo-Smith, who's been a standout player for Clint PA's group all season long. Pierre Caillet, one of the leaders at the back, and Colby Quinones has been in good form for New England as of late. On the other side of the coin for Coach Ludwig Tayondie's group, Chicago Fire FC 2, it is Victor Becerra, the Chicago native, who gets the start up top in a 4-5-1 formation. So much depth in that midfield, led by Harold Osorio, who's been in very good form these last few weeks. Justin Reynolds just scored his first league goal of the season last time out, and Andreas Uland leads the back line in front of Mihalo Miskovic, who is in goal tonight for the visitors. Of course, it's a very strong bench for both teams as well. Some rotation in particular for Chicago with the likes of Alex Moniz, Luca Perpa, who you normally see in the starting lineup, Michael Nessie as well, all coming off the bench. Not to be outdone, but Revs 2 rather deep as well. Leaders like Jake Rosansky and Brandon Bueno on the bench. Marcos Diaz and Esmir Bayraktarovic have all had strong campaigns in Next Pro to this point in the season. When these two franchises tend to get together, whether it's at the top level or at this level, it tends to be a very thrilling contest. That's what we're hoping for yet again here tonight, as New England looks to bounce back. They lost last time out against New York Red Bulls 2. Chicago, after an 8-game winless run, it was actually the longest winless run in the league at the time. They finally put it to bed with a win in Columbus, of all places, last time out. Thomas Snyder is our center official tonight in Foxborough. One of these, the boys in the navy with the white trim, that will kick us off here for New England. Joshua Bulma is in the center circle. Jack Panayiotou kicked us off, and we are off and running here in Massachusetts. First meeting of this season between New England and Chicago, third all-time meeting. In some ways, it's a rubber game between these two after each side got a victory in the two meetings a season ago. New England trying to keep pace with Crown Legacy at the top of the Eastern Conference table. Chicago, once again, in a very topsy-turvy Eastern Conference, has a chance to jump up multiple spots at the end of this weekend if they can come on the road and grab all 3 points. Sean St. Jacques here with you on MLSNextPro.com. It's one of the better matchups, if not an upper echelon matchup in the league this weekend on a match day 12. Not many better venues than Gillette Stadium in Foxborough to have it. All the way back it comes to Miskovic. Early clearance of the lines for Chicago in their whites with the red trim. It'll be a throw-in for the young talent Malcolm Fry on the near side, although he will leave it. And New England will get it back into play with Santiago Suarez. Well, for New England, they had been in such good form until last time out when they went to Montclair to take on New York Red Bulls 2. It was a 4-game winning run for New England, but then the trip to Jersey just didn't quite go their way in a 4-1 defeat. It's rare that you see New England, well, lose as of late, but to lose like that in particular against a Red Bulls 2 team, again, very strong. You'd expect New England to maybe go there and get a result. Again, it didn't happen. It's a long season. There were 2 goals in 7 minutes to begin the game, 1 for each side, but then New York took it to New England the rest of the way to end the 4-game winning streak. It's just the opposite for Chicago, an 8-game winless run, and they go to the home of the defending champions, Columbus Crew 2. And not only did they win, they won rather convincingly. 4-2 was the final. It was a bit of a misleading scoreline. For 70 minutes of the game, Chicago were 4-0 up and looked every bit the better of the 2 teams. It's a rather impressive performance. Here's New England on the attack. Adebayo Smith's in the middle. Crucial touch by Noah Egan defensively. As the cross into the middle needed a definitive touch from a defensive perspective. It is cleared out of play as Peyton Miller nearly found Jordan Adebayo Smith cutting through the middle. The Chicago back line. Well, Noah Egan is one of the players that Coach Ludo highlighted this week in our weekly sit-down. Said in particular, obviously the 2 goals towards the end of the game in Columbus were a bit frustrating for Chicago, but said defensively it was as strong as they've been all season long. And earlier in the season, he talked about the first half in Toronto being the best half they had played all season. Although they were 2-0 up, ended up losing that game 3-2 in the second half. This time, they had 3 first-half goals in Columbus, added a 4th in the second half. Again, a couple of late consolation goals, but a huge step forward for Chicago. Coach Ludo said it gave the guys confidence. He said before the game we told them you have a chance to turn heads tonight in Columbus to beat the defending champions on their home patch, which for those that have followed the league the last year and a half almost, it's just very rare that Columbus drops points at home. Boy, did Chicago turn some heads last time out. Justin Reynolds, Richard Fleming, Billy Hensey, and Luca Perpa were all on the score sheet. Billy Hensey, of course, leads the team, joint leader with 3 goals this season. But Justin Reynolds, Richard Fleming, and Luca Perpa all scoring their first league goals of the season in the win. There's the aforementioned Osorio. Down the line it goes for Charlie Ostrom. Into the middle for Fleming. Great cross. Becerra tries to keep it alive. Fleming trying to regain possession. Malcolm Fry clears it. It does take a Chicago touch on the way out, and it's a New England throw. And again for New England, Jack Panayotou equalized in the 7th minute. It was the earliest goal in a game New England's had all season to make it 1-1 against New York Red Bulls 2, but he talked about just a need to reset a little bit, made some mistakes, and got punished against New York Red Bulls 2, a team that is certainly capable of hurting many teams around the league with their great offensive attacking power. And they did it to the tune of 4 goals against a New England team that tends to be stingy. Here's Miller. Miller's ball into the middle, and it's palmed away by Miskovic, and he's able to get back on top of it. Before any further action could occur, Jack Panayotou was making a very good run in behind. May have been able to slot that in. Miskovic was not able to get a touch to it, but he did. And Revs 2 nearly breached the Chicago back line. It's something Coach Ludo's touched on to us multiple times this year, getting the balance right at the back. They were opened up here by Peyton Miller on the replay, and it needed the touch. Miskovic, and it did come just before Panayotou could slot it in. Now can Chicago find an answer at the other end? Should mention as well for Chicago, no Amari Glasgow tonight due to yellow card accumulation, so he's suspended for this game. He's a player that really can make an impact, but there's plenty of options for Chicago to find something here. Brief handball appeals in the middle. Thomas Schneider had a look. It allows play to continue. Noah Hernandez was in the middle on the cross, but in a crowded penalty area, couldn't do a whole lot with it. And in the end, it's a Revs 2 free kick. Coach Ludo called the performance in Columbus a solid one. Said we were able to build from the back, definitely more solid throughout the game. Said the two goals were a bitter feeling at the end. They both came from set pieces, but on the whole, he was extremely pleased with the way his boys were able to leave Columbus with those 3 points. Adebayo Smith tries to go through the back of Andreas Uland. And in the end, Uland wins a free kick for Chicago. Talked about that Noah Egan got a shout out from Coach Ludo this week, but he really said the whole group did a tremendous job. The amount of running they did as a group last time out, as the flag's going to go up here against Noah Hernandez, offside is given. It was just tremendous. He said the team ran 126 kilometers as a group. So the back line in particular did well. He said Andreas Uland stood out, captaining the side. Noah Egan was great, he said. And the team is growing in confidence. And a team like Chicago, if they can continue that momentum, they can certainly jump up quite a few spots. Not just tonight, but as the season progresses and we get into the nitty-gritty months of July and August, a lot of movement can certainly take place if it continues to be this tight, especially in the East. Hernandez in the middle of that. It's a foul and a free kick for Chicago. Chance to service this into the penalty area and create a chance for the visitors. Talked about no Amari Glasgow tonight. With Rochester out with a concussion as well. Mateo Kidd close to returning as well. So Chicago trying to round into form in the middle segments of the season. They have a set piece here in the 10th minute in Foxborough. Ball is whipped in, and he's not able to get past the first man. Joshua Bolma redirects it out, and it's a Chicago corner. Now, Coach Clint Piet, we caught up with him this week. He talked about the Red Bulls result, said it was poor, the performance. Said the game understanding and desire just wasn't up to our normal levels. Was the goalkeeper there? Jacob Jackson falls down. It's headed back into a dangerous area. Osorio was there. It's helped along by Victor Souza. And Bolma comes out with it. Just to finish the point that Clint Piet said as Fleming's pass goes awry here on the near side. He said no one was really feeling it. No one was up for it at times and didn't make the adjustments that were required to get back into the game after the second and third goals went in. That's what led to the lopsided defeat. Rare we see that from New England at any level, frankly. But Clint Piet gave credit to New York Red Bulls too as well. So they definitely played their part. So they've got good players. The press for them and the aggressiveness they brought to the table made it difficult for New England to move the ball the way they normally like to, and compared it to the challenge that Chicago provides. Chicago's certainly a team that likes to press high up the field. And when they win the ball back and get it in transition, they can be extremely lethal. And in some ways, it's helped Clint Piet and his boys in particular to prepare for this game and try to use the principles that didn't work against Red Bulls 2, apply them better here tonight. It's a team that plays in a similar manner and get the 3 points they're craving here. Euland splashes it out to the far side. Cross comes into the middle. It's Osorio's head, and it's held by Jacob Jackson. And it appears that Osorio has stayed down for Chicago behind the play. He's able to get back up to his feet. Hopefully he's okay. Keep an eye on him. Gerard Osorio has had a tremendous season for Chicago. 3 goals, 4 assists this campaign. Almost every time we talk to Coach Ludo about his group, he tends to mention Gerard Osorio quite a bit. Not just his story, coming here to chase his dreams overseas, but on top of that, the way he's grown as a player as the season's gone on and developed. That's what's really stood out the most. Ostrom, great ball into the middle. It's Fleming's strike, held by Jackson. Richard Fleming scored last time out against Columbus. Tried to make it 2-2. In the end, not enough venom really to trouble Jacob Jackson, especially the way Jacob Jackson's been playing of late. He had 12 saves, a career high against Red Bulls 2. Last time out was a huge bright spot. Although this is given away. Noah Hernandez scores! We talked about the press that Chicago can apply, and Noah Hernandez strikes for Chicago in Foxborough to give them the lead. You can never settle with Chicago on your coattails. Noah Hernandez scoops it up and scores it to give Chicago a lead of 1-0. It is the first goal of the season for Noah Hernandez. He creates the turnover, and he's clinical with his finish. And for the second game in a row, New England concedes an early goal. In the game against New York Red Bulls 2, it was inside of 5 minutes. Tonight, it's inside of 15. Coach Ludo's press is applied perfectly. And Noah Hernandez, right place at the right time. And it was a very, very well taken finish. Noah Hernandez becomes the 13th different goal scorer for Chicago this season. And inside of 15 minutes, Chicago Fire FC2 have certainly carried the momentum from Columbus to Foxborough with them so far tonight. Can't get off to a much better start than what Chicago has had. There's been a few leaks with New England going the other way, but Chicago finds the opening goal to completely change the complexion. There's a Chicago player down away from the play here. That might have been Justin Reynolds on the far side. Referee again, Thomas Schneider, making sure that he's okay to continue. It will be a drop ball for Revs 2 to get us back underway with Chicago ahead. It's just a moment when New England looked comfortable on the ball, and then one mistake leads to the break. And Noah Hernandez takes full advantage. It took 3 minutes for New England to respond in Montclair, New Jersey, last time out. See if they can find an equalizing goal as swiftly as they did then, last time out. Boma into the middle, Adebayo Smith finds Panayotou, and they do score! Just like that! It's another swift response. It's the same man who did it in Montclair, Jack Panayotou, who equalizes. They did it even quicker than they did last time. It all starts with Joshua Boma. Jordan Adebayo Smith is the one that sets it up. And it's a stinging strike from Jack Panayotou off the post and in. And in a flash, New England are level. It's one each. Oh, a bit of deja vu for Clint Pierre's boys. Same player, Jack Panayotou.
Assist by number 99.
Last time it was in 3 minutes. I think that was about a minute and a half, maybe, where New England were behind, but Revs 2 are level, and they could be in behind for more here. Miller's cross, he's cut out. Reynolds tries to follow up. It's off of Colby Quinones. That's a Chicago throw. Once again, have to give Clint Pierre's boys a lot of credit. They didn't dwell on it at all, going down early. They've equalized, and now can they take the next step, as they were not able to in Montclair last time out, and go on and take the lead. Enthralling beginning to the game from a neutral's point of view. Noah Hernandez's goal canceled out by Jack Panayotou. Is that a free kick? Chicago appeal to the referee. It's not been given. Malcolm Fry controls. If you go by the minutes of the goals, Noah Hernandez scored in the 14th. Panayotou just inside of 17 minutes. It's almost a carbon copy just 10 minutes later. Boma's ball across here. Nobody home initially, but Malcolm Fry picks up the pieces. Awashi thought about it. In the end, it's back to Suarez, and then sent across by Souza. Souza for Suarez. And then Fry is bundled over by Charlie Ostrom. It's a free kick for Revs 2. Well, for Jack Panayotou, it's his second goal of the season for New England Revs 2. And we've had a very exciting 20 minutes to begin the match. Awashi striding through. Trying to feed it from Miller. It's cut out by Reynolds. And it's negated by the offside flag. We could be in for a very exciting affair tonight. These opening stances are any indication. That balance that Chicago's been trying to perfect throughout the season starts out well. They let New England sneak in behind the equalizing goal. It was well taken by Panayotou. In off the post. Not much that Miskovic could have done about it. After Noah Hernandez picked New England's pocket, Jack Panayotou gets the goal back, and now Adebayo Smith is in! He scores off a mistake! And in a flash, New England from 1-0 down are 2-1 up. A lapse of judgment at the back for Chicago. And you don't give Jordan Adebayo-Smith chances like that. His team-leading 5th goal of the season. It's a miscued pass back to the goalkeeper. And again, you give Jordan Adebayo-Smith an inch, he will take a mile. And it's 2-1 New England.
New England goal in the 21st minute, scored by
He's now one of 4 New England Revolution 2 players with 5 goals this season, along with Bayrak Ternovic, Tico Rivera, and Marcos Diaz. And after the brightest of starts for Chicago, it's been turned on its head here by New England. We haven't even played 22 minutes. Revs 2 lead by 2-1. And now it's Chicago who have to try and respond. Their lead barely lasted for 2-3 minutes, and now they're behind. Fleming plays it down the line. Couple of white shirts queuing up inside the penalty area. Osorio is one of them, as is Becerra. Cross is deflected for a Chicago Fire FC2 throw. Well, it was New England that made the miscue at the back that Noah Hernandez pounced on. Jordan Adebayo-Smith does the same to give New England their first lead of the night. So far, this has been a game that you can't take your eyes off of, frankly. Never know what's going to happen next. Andreas Uland trying to find Noah Hernandez in behind, too far. And New England can reset. We talked about the baker's dozen of different goal scorers for Chicago. It's been a bit more top-heavy for New England. Again, 4 now with 5 goals this season for Revs 2. And now they're up to 30 goals as a team to this point in the campaign. Going into the day, that was actually the top mark in the league, but going into the match, Rapids 2 had eclipsed them. Now they're up to 30, and they still have time to maybe reclaim that top scoring mark in MLS Next Pro. Chicago with some good build-up play here. It's Ostrom trying to cross it into the middle, blocked out of play by Suarez. Chicago want to get back on level terms, and they have a corner. Well, already plenty of twists and turns in this one. Can Chicago get back on level terms as quickly as they fell behind? It's a good ball whipped in as well. Becerra was up highest for Chicago, but it was off a New England head last. Might have been Suarez. Back out for another corner for the visitors to take here. In comes the cross. Becerra tries an overhead kick, and in the end it goes over the top of the bar and out of play. The initial ball was very well placed, but it was so congested there was nowhere really for it to go off the header. And in the end, New England do enough defensively. Clint P.A. has to absolutely love the way his team has bounced back here. They went behind early again, but this time they've swiftly replied. And not only did they equalize, they've come back to take the lead. Now can New England go on from here, or will Chicago fight their way back into it? This season, I should say, at Gillette Stadium, Revs 2 have been very difficult to stop. 6th game, or I should say their 7th game, 6 prior here at Gillette Stadium. New England have won 4 of them. The only team to come to Gillette Stadium and win. New York Red Bulls 2, back on April 21st. They've actually beaten Revs 2 twice this season. It was a 1-0 win. Chicago looking to respond again. Reynolds trying to cross. It's blocked out. It is another Chicago corner. The one draw here came against FC Cincinnati 2. That was on April 30th, that crazy 5-5 game. Most goals ever scored in a Next Pro game. Revs 2 won the kicks from the spot 5-4 in a classic encounter. So Chicago would have to do quite a bit here to get a result. They got off to the right start, and they get back on level terms. It's Fleming's header. It flashes wide of the post. Service was just about spot on here, but Fleming couldn't hit the target. It was a good effort here. With his head, puts it into the mixer, and actually it was Euland who was closest to it to get a touch on net. But it flashed past him before he could react. Just to further dive in here to the Revs 2 home stats. 6 home games this season out of the 12 before they've played this game tonight. They've scored 2 more goals at home this season on average, and then a +7 goal differential in total. They've conceded going into the night 10 fewer goals at home than they do on the road. As a group, one of the top teams in the league in goals scored, assists, shots on target. They're all in the top 5 in MLS Next Pro. Chicago coming off the 4 they scored against Columbus, which was the most they've scored in a game this season. Confidence was high. We saw that in the first 15 minutes, but boy, has New England responded. Bit of a shirt pull there from Fleming. Revs 2 get on with it. Awashi, out wide it goes to Pierre Caillet. Tries to free Panayotu or Adebayo Smith. It's Euland on the cover. And Euland is fouled. Free kick for Chicago. Coming into the night, New England did have back-to-back home clean sheets in the league. That's done. Chicago did score through that man, Noah Hernandez, who was just on the ball briefly. Now Chicago have to try to score again to get back on level terms. How quickly the tide has changed. Ricochet's out. Chicago get the throw. Near side, it's Javier Casas Jr. Playing it back for Euland. Ball is flared forward. Jordan Adebayo Smith didn't know where it was. And then Noah Egan, who did give the ball away to Jordan Adebayo Smith on the goal, the second goal. Able to deal with it defensively, and then he's the one that's fouled here. And a yellow card is going to come out. I think that is Jordan Adebayo Smith himself who's picked it up here. We get another look at it. Egan's released it. Oh, and he did follow through there, didn't he, the goal scorer? And Jordan Adebayo Smith is booked for that challenge. Confirmation of that on your screen.
Your attention, please. Yellow card issued to New England's number 99, Jordan Adebayo Smith.
Chicago do get on with it. Fleming, down the line it goes for Reynolds, too far in front. Jacob Jackson's on the case. Suarez is harried. Nearly gave it away. He does give possession away, but it could have been a lot worse if he didn't clear it further up the field. Casas invites Egan into the attack. Egan trying to thread it through. It nearly fell kindly for Hernandez. Fleming helps it along. Quinones getting involved. Out wide it goes for Reynolds. Quinones was late. And it's a free kick for Chicago. Reynolds got there first. Colby Quinones, who got a shout out from Clint Piet, who said probably doesn't give him enough credit sometimes, the way he plays. Colby Quinones been having a very good stretch recently for Revs too. Got a shout out from his coach, but does give away a free kick here. Another chance here from a set piece for Chicago. Trying to even the score here. From the free kick, Quinones gets his head to it first. Fleming tries to keep it alive. Nathan Miller comes out with it for Revs 2. Miller again, trying to free Jordan Adebayo-Smith, too far in front. Easy enough for Miskovic. Euland gets it back. Casas Jr. under some pressure here from Panayotou. He's dispossessed. Malcolm Fry's there in support. Casas Jr. wins it back. The play's allowed to continue. Jack Panayotou into the penalty area. Had some lovely skill in there initially, but too many white shirts around him to continue his run. Osorio looking for Reynolds on the far side. He finds him. What can Justin Reynolds do with this? His support in the middle of the park from Galina. And Becerra not able to control it. It goes back to Jackson. Euland's header. He's fouled by Panayotou. All three goals coming in just under a 7-minute stretch. Earlier in the first half, from the 14th minute to the 21st minute. Chicago led first. New England's come back to take the lead, but now Becerra is in for Chicago here. Can he find the angle? Not quite. Would have been extremely difficult to score from there for Victor Becerra, the Chicago native. Could not quite find the target. Curled it so much that it actually stayed in play on this near side. And he's going to be a throw, it appears, for Revs 2. That's how much he curled his shot. It's such a tough angle to hit the target from. Referee says it went in and then back out. Ostrom's throw restarts things for Chicago Fire FC 2. Egan finding Reynolds. Egan goes down the line. Played centrally for Enrique Galina. Casas Jr. Charlie Ostrom has space. Poking it through for Becerra. Good defensive work from Santiago Suarez. Chicago will try and build again with under 10 minutes left in the opening stanza. Egan again harried by Jordan Adebayo-Smith, whose goal has New England in front. Becerra trying to send Reynolds further down the line, too far in front of him. And Revs 2 reset with a goal kick. Jackson wanted some help for a short pass. Instead, he sends the boys forward and then follows suit with the ball itself. Quinones is under some pressure here from Fleming. Does ricochet off of big Victor Becerra. Stays with New England. Referee sees if there's advantage that's going to accumulate. It never comes, I should say. And Revs 2 get a free kick just in front of Clint Piet on the far side. Souza for Kaye. Pressured by Noah Hernandez. Adebayo Smith dispossessed by Egan. And New England gets a throw. Able to just about beat through that Chicago press. Should remind our fans, this June, MLS Next Pro is happy to celebrate Pride Month and support LGBTQ fans and community. Beautiful game is for everyone. This has been a great game to watch so far. Malcolm Fry's on the attack here for Revs 2. Not sure if that was a pass or a shot. It was blocked either way. Awashi fights for it with Suarez. And New England do get a throw in out of it. Suarez for Fry. Fry is fouled by Ostrom. And New England gets a free kick in the latter stages of this first half. Can New England add on to their one-goal advantage? Looks like Jack Panayotou is going to be the one that sends this in. Scored the first goal for New England. Tries to set up another, but his free kick comes up short. Back for Suarez. Chicago trying to push their way out. Bulma back for Kaye. And New England will have to reset. Not the best service there from Jack Panayotou. I think he would tell you that. New England do get a throw-in from just about the same spot. Panayotou took the kick by a few yards. Down the line for Panayotou to chase. Does keep it in, but Chicago get possession back. And a bit of a push in the back there from Sousa. Gives Chicago a free kick and a chance to exhale. Galena under pressure from Miller. Sent forward, Kaye is there. Came into the night with 31 interceptions, Pierre Kaye. That's the second most in the league. And now New England have a chance to break again. Miller's in the middle, Panayotou is in the middle as well. It was looking for Panayotou, the ball into the middle. Malcolm Fry keeps it alive. Malcolm Fry to the byline. His cross is parried away by Miskovic. Bolma out for Kaye. Revs to get 2 chances there to find a third goal. Now it's Kobe Quinones over the top. Bolma trying to make a run into the middle. Fry is on the corner of the penalty area. Kaye assesses his options, picks out Malcolm Fry with a brilliant pass. Fry for Quinones. Fry again. Quinones does keep it in. Revs to settle for a throw just to the right of Coach Ludo. Malcolm Fry crosses it into the middle. Noah Egan gets a boot to it. And then Fry coming from an offside position. Couldn't get on the ball from Awashi. Well, it was a great ball in across the face of goal. Panayotou was the closest to it. Not able to get a touch. And then Fry's cross into the middle looking for Miller. Parried away by Miskovic. Egan down the line looking for Justin Reynolds. He's picked him out brilliantly. Reynolds across, Fleming looking for Hernandez. Headed away by Souza. Fry then trying to spring Adebayo Smith forward, who's offside. Two minutes left. Plus potentially some stoppage time in this first half. A couple more swings being thrown by both teams, metaphorically. You can find the next goal here. Reynolds heads it centrally. Hernandez got the first one for Chicago. Held up by Becerra. Reynolds again. Into the middle. A hesitation from Ostrom there. Osorio picks up the pieces. Casas. Out wide it goes. Egan. Reynolds. Justin Reynolds trying to probe here. Reynolds to the byline. Deflected by Quinones, who does very well. Concedes the throw instead of a corner. Reynolds again. It set up rather nicely for him to ping one in. Instead, he puts too much on it. And the attack fizzles out for the visitors here. Jacob Jackson will send everyone forward to clear the lines for New England. It's headed on. Euland does well defensively, but he's taken out. Foul and a free kick for Revs too. Both players involved are still down here. We're into 1 added minute at the end of the first half, and I think that was Bolma who barrels into Euland. Both players are back up, and Bolma, well, I'm not sure why he's pointing at Euland. He's the one that initiated the challenge, and he's booked for doing so. It's very clear that Bolma mistimed the challenge. He's cautioned, and we play on into stoppage time. Noah Egan. Might be a little bit of extra time added on because of the time it took for Euland and Bolma to get back up. Referee, though, does put the whistle to his lips, and that is how the half ends in Foxborough. A very entertaining contest between these two Eastern Conference rivals. Chicago led inside of 15 minutes through Noah Hernandez, but 2 goals in 4 minutes from Jack Panayotou and Jordan Adebayo-Smith sees New England turn it around, and they take a 2-1 lead into the halftime break here in Foxborough, Massachusetts. Excited for the next 45 minutes, but in the meantime, we start halftime with Major League Soccer and RCX Sports having launched MLS Go, a groundbreaking recreational soccer program. Boys and girls aged 4 to 14 can now experience a fun, affordable, and local soccer journey. This fall, MLS Go debuts in 18 markets, expanding access to the sport. You can go to MLSGo.com for more information. We will have highlights and stats from our first half coming up, but first, let's look back at a busy Matchday 11. Michelle and Samara take us through it in this week's edition of the Matchday Rewind.
It's hard to believe, but we are already into June of our MLS Next Pro season. Michelle Montaigne here with Samara Perez, recapping the biggest storylines from Match Day 11.
We have to start with the team that broke the league's all-time undefeated record, Rapids 2. They reached 11 games unbeaten following a heroic 2-goal comeback against Quakes 2. Dauda Amadu found the equalizer in the dying seconds of the game off a corner kick. Minutes earlier, Yosuke Hanya put them back in the game after burying a PK, which moved him up as the solo lead of the Golden Boot race with 8 on the season. As for the team's record-setting run, Coach Boucher considers it a successful feat.
The players deserve credit for that. They've done something that in the very, very short history of this league has not been done. Brilliant.
And speaking of streaks, NYC FC2 is on a 3-game win streak of their own. This winning stretch is the longest for the club, dating back to late June/early July of last year. Despite going down 3-0 to start the game against Huntsville City FC, NYC FC2 posted 4 consecutive goals, including a second-half brace by Matt Myers to complete the 4-3 comeback thriller. Following the match, Matt Pilkington explained just how they were able to do it.
The main thing we talked about was our identity, and then we got away from that first half. We just talked about our identity, just get back to our identity, which was, we want the ball, we want to play with the ball, share the ball, move the ball.
Turning the page, we've got a team that ended its 8-game winless run. Fire 2 surged over Crew 2 with 4 different players scoring in their 4-2 win, the first one since March. Takeaways from the game include academy player Justin Reynolds scoring his first professional goal and midfielder Harold Osorio recording a hat trick of assists, upping his total to 4 on the season, which is tied for second most in the league.
Another team with 4 different players finding the back of the net in their win, Red Bulls 2. After dropping a Monday match to OCB, Red Bulls 2 got back to their winning ways with an emphatic 4-1 win over Northeastern foe Revolution 2 in a top 3 Eastern Conference showdown. Academy product Julian Hall had an outstanding contribution that included a goal just 4 minutes into the match, while Ibrahim Kasul scored in his 3rd straight game.
With Matchday 11 now in the books, we look forward to more action this weekend. Michelle and I will see you back here with the top moments from Matchday 12.
Now it's time to shine the light on the best that Matchday 11 had to offer. Michelle takes us into it with the spotlight.
Hey guys, it's Michelle with MLS Next Pro. We're back with Matchday 11's Spotlight. Kicking things off for us is your MLS Next rising star. It is North Texas SC's Anthony Ramirez. The honor comes following his spectacular performance against LA Galaxy 2. In just his 5th appearance with the club, he helped lead them to their 5th win of the season. He notched his first professional brace and did it within a span of 6 minutes. The MLS Next Pro player of Matchday 11 with a similarly impressive performance, posting 2 goals in just 2 minutes. Atlanta United 2's Nick Firmino earns the player of Matchday 11 honor. His brace and 1 assist added to Atlanta's 5-0 win over Inter Miami 2, posting the biggest goal differential of the match day. Firmino now ranks 2nd among all MLS Next Pro top goal scorers with 7 total goals on the season. And speaking of goals, the best goal of Matchday 11 goes to Crew 2's Isaiah Parente. Parente finds the back of the net off a free kick that sails past an entire wall of defenders and past Fire 2's keeper. The goal also came in the last moments of extra time to cut the goal differential in half, earning 41% of the votes for Matchday 11. As for this week's team in the spotlight, that goes to a very deserving New York Red Bulls 2. After their 4-1 victory over one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, Revs 2, Red Bulls 2 earned their 4th win in 5 games. Getting things started just 4 minutes into the match was Academy standout Julian Hall, who at just 15 years old became the youngest goal scorer ever in team history. The team now sits in 3rd place in the Eastern Conference. A full week of play, a full list of honorees in the spotlight. We'll see you back here soon.
Sean St. Jacques back here with you. It's 2-1 New England over Chicago at the half. We will get to highlight stats in the second half kick in just a moment. Michelle, in the meantime, had a chance to meet with Columbus Crew's Marco Micheletto. The 27-year-old midfielder was born in Italy and raised in England. Let's meet the 5-year pro.
MLS Next Pro, Michelle Montaigne here with the real Eminem, Marco Micheletto. Cappy, thank you so much for sitting down with us. A long time coming on this interview.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, absolutely.
Marco, we have to start with what people really care about, the capybaras. Now, after you guys won the cup last season, you said if you guys had the success that you wanted, after having visited them in person at the zoo last season, that it might become tradition that you have to go see the capybaras. So, my question, is that tradition in place? Are there any plans? What can we expect to see?
Yeah, no, that's a good reminder. I think judging by our last couple of games, you can tell that we haven't gone to see them. So I think a visit to the capybaras is due in very short time.
Roberts with the run of Micheletto. Marco Micheletto scores! A brilliant ball over the top, and the captain puts it away. Columbus Crew 2 on the board first.
You also mentioned previously that it takes a lot to build an elite environment versus just having a talented roster of players. What makes that difference come to life?
It's so many different things that a lot of it goes to do what you do from Monday through Friday. You know, what you see on the weekend is just kind of the end product, but it's what happens day to day, and more so even what happens outside of the training facility. It's how willing are the lads to get together and go out for dinner, or throw a grill out together, or just have each other's back off the field. And then once you build those relationships off the field, that's when you can start seeing the benefits on the field. The staff creates an environment for us where we don't really have many easy days or off days. And that's what you want. You want to be tested, you want to be challenged. I got out of a film session where I got shown about 7 or 8 clips of just me and being told about all my touches not being the ones that they should have been, you know? And it's humbling. You need to have that ego check. You need to be able to accept that feedback.
For you specifically, I think you've said previously that you kind of consider yourself a role player. So when you're on the pitch, if you could take us like into Marco Micheletto's mind, you're running up the field, you have JR out to your left, or this season Gibran. What's going through your mind when you're out there?
Oh, not a lot. You see, it's I tell you what, this year is a little bit of a different challenge for me. I think I have to lean into more the fact that I have to lead this team a little bit more. I've never really seen myself as a captain. I said it numerous times last year. I said, I don't do anything. I just wear the armband. These lads lead themselves. I'm just here just to smile and wave when I get asked to, you know. But this year's different. This year we've got younger lads that they do look up to me, whether I like it or not. They look at my behaviour, and you know, I always tell them, get what you want and also make sure you don't do everything I do. You know what I mean? But I have to hold myself accountable to try and set the example all the time. So there's a lot of that. It's finding the right balance between one, trying to transfer the message that the coaching staff want, kind of almost be an addition to them onto the field. Try to communicate, keep the lads into the game, manage the moments of the game for the whole team, but at the same time, like, I'm my own player. I have to also just do my role for the team, and I have to trust my teammates to do their job for the team. So yeah, it's that balance. How much do you lead? How much do you talk? How much do you worry about him? And how much do you just say, hold on, like, let me take care of this thing on my game, because he's going to be all right to take care of his, you know?
You own one of the maybe more exciting records in all of MLS Next Pro. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, most lost possessions. I don't know. What is it?
No, it's actually fastest goal ever in MLS Next Pro.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah, of course. Listen, and this is a clear example of it. Like, I get the credit for it. I didn't do anything. I just ran and kicked the ball. It was set up in the training ground. It was just everybody around me did their task, and I just ran, and the ball was there, and I just kicked it in. So it was cool. Yeah.
Do you know how long it was?
9 seconds.
That's
yeah.
impressive.
Yeah. I do remember that one.
Awesome. All right, well, before we let you go, I want to go through a quick little rapid fire questionnaire with you. Is that cool?
Let's do it.
All right. First one, maybe the hardest one of them all. Which one's harder, regulation PKs or shootout kicks from the spot?
Regulation.
Best color Gatorade?
Blue.
Favorite sport other than soccer?
Golf. Formula 1's pretty cool, but yeah, golf. I'm terrible at it, but I like playing it.
All right, last one. 3 words to describe Cappy.
Can I? Is this? Look at the state of this. That's my head coach. I would say passionate, committed, and very blessed.
Well, we are very blessed to have had you here with us today. Thank you so much for the time, Marco.
No, thank you, and thank you for having me, and I've really enjoyed our chat.
Sean St. Jacques back here with you at the half between New England Revolution 2 and Chicago Fire FC 2. Revs 2 lead 2-1 at the break as we take a look at a recap from some of the games that have gone on over the past week. Match day 12 in MLS Next Pro. Big win for Inter Miami against FC Cincinnati 2 to get them back on the right track. Philly as well, getting a big victory over a very difficult team to stop in Atlanta United 2. Austin getting the win, and Real Monarchs on kicks from the spot getting 2 points off of Los Dos. Timbers 2 winners as well, and of course Revs 2 against NYCFC 2 among the great games to look forward to on Wednesday in just a few days' time. And the top team in the East, Crown Legacy, is also in action against Philadelphia Union 2 in the upcoming schedule. Let's look back at the first 45 minutes in Foxborough between Revs 2 and Chicago Fire FC 2. It was a game that didn't take very long to get going. Both teams went at each other in the early stages. This was a miscued pass from Malcolm Fry, and Noah Hernandez inside of 15 minutes pounced on it to give Chicago the lead very early on here in Foxborough. His first goal of the season in Next Pro gave Chicago the lead, but just a few minutes later, it was Jack Panayotou in off the post to equalize for Revs 2 just a few minutes after they had fallen behind. It was a very swift response to get Clint Pierre's boys back on level terms, and they didn't waste a lot of time after that to take the lead. Miscue from Egan, slotted home by Jordan Adebayo-Smith, his 5th goal of the campaign for Revs 2 to give New England a lead of 2-1, and that is where we stand at the moment with 45 minutes still to play in New England. Great recovery from Revs 2, and they lead as we take a look at the halftime match stats. Shots on target are even, total shots and possession in favor of Chicago. Had plenty of opportunities before they scored and after they fell behind to get back on level terms, but New England had the better of it. Both teams did make a mistake, each led to a goal. And then, of course, Jack Panayotou's great strike in the middle of all that has the hosts in front by 2-1.
Exiting the game, number 22.
And has us set up for what could be a very exciting 45 minutes still to come at Gillette Stadium. On MLSNextPro.com, the teams switch sides for the second half. Chicago will be kicking from left to right. And the second half is a go here in Foxborough. Revs 2 trailed in the early stages, but have come back to take the lead, and that's where we stand at the start of the second half. Sean St. Jacques here with you at Gillette Stadium on MLSNextPro.com. Happy to have you with us. A great matchup to finish up match day 12. Well, you can see there on the screen here, a substitution was made by New England at the half. The goal scorer, Jack Panayotou, is off. Esmir Bayraktarovic comes on. Chicago did make a substitution as well. It was an attacking sub. Victor Becerra comes off. Misael Rodriguez, who has scored this season for Coach Ludo's boys, comes on. So both teams make some changes. It's more of an attacking change, it must be said, for Clint Pierre's group. A midfielder comes out, and an attacking player in Bayraktarovic, who has 5 goals to his name this season, comes on. It's a like-for-like change. Coach Taillon Die's group. Foul there during the last sequence, just after the changes were announced. It is a Chicago free kick. Noah Hernandez, who scored Chicago's goal, is going to take this, trying to help the visitors get back level here. Thomas Schneider is our center official, just making sure everything is good inside the penalty area. Hernandez whips it in right at the goalkeeper. Jackson makes the save. There was a bit of a follow through there from Noah Egan. Jackson took exception to it. Noah Egan sees yellow for his challenge. Jacob Jackson was always going to be favorited there to get up there and make the catch. But Noah Egan, maybe a tad bit too eager, sees a yellow card. Third all-time meeting between these two. It's the first time they've met this season in MLS Next Pro. These two teams, last time they met was August 14th of last season. New England won here by a 0-0. In the reverse fixture in June, a couple months prior, it was a 7-goal thriller in Illinois. Chicago won it by 4-3. It was a crazy contest. This one's been kind of in the middle of those two, not just by the scoreline, but in intensity as well. It's been a bit more methodical since the 3 goals went in. Both defenses have made adjustments. I'm sure Clint Pierre will be happy to see that. Said his team didn't make enough adjustments in the loss to Red Bulls 2 last time out. They've been doing that a lot better so far tonight, trying to hold off Chicago. Here's Egan. Ping it forward. It's headed by Malcolm Fry. Better safe than sorry, but it is out for a corner. Coach Ludo talked about Revs 2 in the build-up to this game. Says they look like one of the best teams in the league. They adjust well. They can play from the back. They can play a little longer as well forward. Said they manage the depths behind the back line well. It's played out in some ways in this game so far, as Fleming the third tried to get on the end of that. Ball crossed in. Javier Casas Jr. lets it go out of play for a throw. We were expecting this to be a high-flying, attacking affair. We've had those moments, especially during that first 25-30 minute stretch of the first half. But again, adjustments have been made by both teams. We'll see who can make the next big move in the match. Osorio had 3 assists in the win over Red Bulls 2, sends that forward. Had 1 assist going into the game. He now has 4 on the season. It's a foul and a free kick. It will go New England's way. Goes out of play in front of Clint Pierre. Chicago gets on with it. Well, again, we talked about how we had a chance to catch up with both coaches this week, as Quinones is upended by Egan, who's already been booked. He sees a second yellow. Surely a red to follow here. Referee goes to the pocket on Egan for a second time in the half. And Noah Egan, after upending Colby Quinones with a rash challenge, he's going to see surely a red card here, and he has. Chicago are down to 10, and it's clear as day that Egan's gotten it all wrong there on the challenge. Noah Egan is sent off here in the early stages of the second half. It took a while for that red card to come out, but it was always on the way after that late and rash challenge. And Chicago are down to 10 for the remainder. And the task just got a whole lot more difficult for Chicago Fire FC2 here. Egan followed through on the goalkeeper on the first challenge. And here, just a confirmation of it in case you didn't see it before we went to the replay. Egan's second yellow turns to red. And the challenge turns from tough to very, very difficult here for Chicago. Down a goal, and now down a defender.
Attention, please. A second yellow card has been issued.
It's going to be interesting to see if Coach Tayombier is going to have to make another substitution here to counteract what's just occurred. Losing a defender, especially one that's been in as good a form as Noah Egan. Bulma on the attack for Revs 2 was trying to add insult to injury. It's cut out. The first one, and he went in late on Jackson, was rather clear cut, but the second one is about a stone wall of a second yellow, as you'll see. Noah Egan just completely mistimed the tackle, and Thomas Schneider, frankly, had no other alternative. That's a foul on Osorio on the far side. I think that was Suarez who went in on him. Chicago gets a free kick. Can Chicago fight their way back down to 10? Isael Rodriguez surrounded up front, but Fleming is in support. Hernandez back for Fleming. Euland. Fleming, who scored against Red Bulls 2 last time out. Andreas Euland. Those two continuing to link up on this near side, but nothing comes of it. They switch the point of attack for Casas. Casas pinging one through the middle. Jackson gets there before Misael Rodriguez could really control and take a shot at it. Before that last sequence played out, I was just going to mention that I had a chance to talk with both coaches this week about a multitude of different things, about their own teams, about the league, about the matchup, of course the opponents that each are playing. As Hernandez tries to slip that through. Challenge came in on Rodriguez on the edge of the penalty area. Referee sees nothing wrong with it. Jackson comes up with the ball in the end. Kaye will clear it for New England. What I was going to mention is that both coaches did have a comment on the prospects and news that Lionel Messi is going to be joining Inter Miami and coming into the MLS family. And when I had talked to Clint PA about it a little bit earlier in the week, Messi hadn't announced yet that he was going to come, and said if he does come at the time, talked about how cool it would be for not only Major League Soccer, but for Next Pro, give the guys something to look forward to if they can get to the next level. Said it might not be the golden years of Messi, but he's still a class act, and said it's like David Beckham going to LA Galaxy, but bigger. Coach Ludo had an interesting comment as well, said it's fantastic news with MLS. It's a special time. Said it was special when he went to Ligue 1 in France. As Cross comes in, Kaye does deal with it. Said teams are going to sell tickets a whole lot easier. It's amazing for American soccer, for development. So he's excited for us, and he's excited for the league as well as a whole, all the way from the top to the bottom. It's such big news for Major League Soccer and for MLS as a whole. Both coaches had big smiles on their faces when I asked them the question about Lionel Messi coming to America to play in Major League Soccer. Over a month and a half away before he can potentially make his debut for Inter Miami. More promising play from Chicago in the meantime. Revs 2 do have a free kick here. Headed forward by Galena. This is Charlie Ostrom. Kaye takes control of the scene, one of the leaders for Clint Piet's group. He's been a big leader ever since the USL League 1 days for Revs 2. Casas has Galena in support. If you're just tuning in on MLSNextPro.com, Chicago led in this game inside of 15 minutes. Revs 2 have come back to take the lead, and now Chicago are down to 10 after Noah Egan Saw 2 yellow cards in the second half. Awashi picks it up for New England. We'll get a chance to recycle it. Kaye. Switches the point of attack beautifully. Boma. As New England trying to really gain control of this game and stamp their authority on proceedings. It's an uphill climb now for Chicago. Can Revs 2 take advantage of their man advantage? This is Bayraktarovic trying to slip it through. Uland is all over it for Chicago. Chicago trying to counterattack here. Suarez gets tangled up with Ostrom. Both teams looking for a free kick. Referee never made a decision. New England assumed it was their ball. Referee never said one way or another. Could be a throw, could be a free kick for either side, but the decision had not been made officially. And now Chicago, including Coach Ludo, asking for an explanation here from Thomas Schneider. I didn't see him point one way or another here. It appears it's a Chicago free kick, and that's what I thought the initial inclination was, although Revs 2 were convinced it should have gone the other way. So with half an hour left, it is a free kick for the visitors here, not for New England. And a chance for Chicago to find an equalizing goal despite being without Noah Egan. Can the Windy City boys find their way back here to level pegging? Whistle goes. Ball is whipped in centrally. Kaye gets to it first. A foul is seen. Actually, the flag has got up here. New England get a free kick. It appears there was an offside infraction. It's a missed opportunity for Chicago. Set pieces can be a route for them to get back into the game. Their press could also help. Again, without Egan, they will be stretched a bit, although Reynolds gets it right back here for Chicago. Hernandez for Osorio. Osorio for Fleming, who lets it fly and finishes beautifully. What about that from Chicago? Down to 10. Richard Fleming scores a fantastic equalizing goal, and it's 2-2. Just the way Chicago likes it. They pick the ball off, and it is a phenomenal finish from Fleming. 2 goals in 2 games for Richard Fleming III. And the 10 men of Chicago have climbed their way back to level pegging.
Attention, please. Chicago.
Coach Ludo and company not lying down in Foxborough this evening.
By number 52.
And with plenty of time left, the 10 men of Chicago have climbed it all the way back to 2-2. It's a stunning goal. And we see another twist in the tail. Revs 2 scored very quickly after Chicago scored their first goal. Can they repeat the trick here? Not wasting any time again. Awashi. He goes down, referee spots it. It is a free kick for New England as they look for another immediate response. Well, Richard Fleming III absolutely pings this ball into the back of the net for Chicago just a few moments ago. And boy, do we have a game on our hands now. Saw a few moments where it looked like New England might be able to really stamp their authority on the proceedings here. But a moment of brilliance by Justin Reynolds to win the ball back. Harold Osorio, by the way, picks up another assist. He has 5 now this season, 4 in 2 games. And Richard Fleming flashes it past Jackson. But now it's Revs 2's turn. After the 10 men of Chicago have fought their way back, they've clawed it back here. Can New England steal it back away from them? It's in at the near post. I think it was initially a chance there for Peyton Miller to get a touch on. It's back out of play for a corner here for New England. We get a replay of the free kick. And it was Miller who tried to redirect it. Fleming the third was there defensively for Chicago. Set piece opportunity here with just over 25 minutes left. Esmir Bayraktarovic will take it. Good ball in, it's flicked in! Handball appeals are waved away by Thomas Schneider. Multiple Revs 2 players asking the question of the center official. He says no infraction occurs, we play on. All those moments happened so quickly, it was very tough to tell. And now Chicago are back on the attack with Rodriguez off the takeaway from Osorio. Isael Rodriguez is trapped and loses the ball. But Revs 2 again give it away. Good pressure from Chicago. Galina weaving his way through. And Chicago creates something else here. Euland tries to switch the point of attack. It's too far for Ostrom to chase. Well, incredible response here from Chicago. I have to give Coach Ludovic Tayondier's group a ton of credit. They have not lied down, and they scored a goal of real quality to get themselves back on level terms. Was that handled on the way through by Rodriguez? No, it was not. It was the shoulder, and he was brought down. It is a Chicago free kick. Well, it's been the definition of a seesaw game. Chicago were 1-0 up. 7 minutes later, they were 2-1 down. But with a lot of time left, it is 2-2 with Chicago down a man. But so far, it hasn't really mattered the way they've played and the way they've fought in this second half. Can they do what New England did in the first half and come fully from behind? Oh, it's a header down and flashed over the top. I think it was Ostrom who was able to get his head to that. It was a good ball in, very good ball in, and it was Ostrom just not able to redirect it on target. Adebayo Smith helping it along. Malcolm Fry trying to get Revs 2 back on their way here. Remember, if it stays like this, there will be kicks from the spot, but there could be a few more twists and turns here as Misael Rodriguez is brought down. Victor Souza with a very clean challenge to make sure he didn't get away from him. Flared out to Fleming on this near side, who's a hero right now for Chicago. Reynolds was the one that really started it. Chicago winning the ball back high up the field. Osorio put it on a plate, and Fleming feasted with a sparkling finish. Fleming again. And now he's up to 2 goals this season. Fleming the third is just the 3rd player for Chicago this season who has scored multiple goals in this MLS Next Pro season, along with Billy Hensey and Harold Osorio. And it's 2-2. Chicago are down to 10. Again, Noah Egan was sent off back in the 52nd minute. But 10 minutes after that happened, Richard Fleming pops up with the equalizing goal. Fleming heads it back forward. Isael Rodriguez trying to be physical there and break free. Victor Sousa unsuccessful on this occasion. He commits the foul. And it looks like New England are going to make a couple of changes here. Marcos Diaz is going to come on. Santiago Suarez will leave us. And Jake Rosansky, one of the leaders on this team. Almost a father figure, as Clint Pies put it in the past. He's going to come on. And Joshua Bolma, who is on a yellow card, it must be said, he's going to make way. Double change for Revs 2. With just over 20 minutes left. Chicago are trying to make it 2 wins in a row, and they would have 2 pretty impressive scalps on their resume here. Going to the champions last time out in Columbus and winning by 4-2, and now coming to the team in second in the East at the moment and getting a result. That would be a tremendous stretch, coming off a run where they hadn't won in 8. And for New England, trying to avoid dropping points for a second consecutive game, losing in Montclair, New Jersey to Red Bulls 2 last time out, and now seeing Chicago down to 10 peg them back.
Leaving the game, number 16, Joshua Bolma.
Free kick that Fry takes quickly for Revs 2 here. Well, this sent forward looking for Bayraktarovic, who's sandwiched, but is able to keep possession, but not for very long. Now Chicago try to play this out of the back. Great run from Fleming to catch up to that ball. Rodriguez makes the run. Fleming's gonna flare this out looking for Osorio. It finds him. Great spray of a pass out there. Osorio for Ostrom. And Ostrom collides with Jackson. He's able to come out with the ball. Bayraktarovic. Can Chicago pull this off? Down to 10 for a good chunk of the second half here. Where's New England going to take the lead once more? Marcos Diaz for Jordan Adebayo-Smith. Back for Marcos Diaz. It's opened up here for Malcolm Fry. Good save. Miskovic denies Malcolm Fry his moment. It is out for a corner. Great build-up play from the trio of attacking stars for Revs 2 here. But the goalkeeper snuffs it out. Malcolm Fry on his right sees it palmed over the bar and out for a corner. Diaz and Adebayo-Smith beautifully combining in the build-up. But Mihajlo Miskovic comes up with the save. From the ensuing corner, New England again trying to take the lead. It's curled in. Miskovic maybe taken out there. Referee sees nothing wrong with it. Play continues. Chicago do get it out of their own penalty area in the end. And Yulin tries to settle things down for Chicago. Yuland for Fleming. Fleming's goal surely has to be in the running for goal of the week. The way he struck it. It's certainly in the conversation, and now Chicago won another here. It's played in behind Rodriguez, and in the end, not close enough for Noah Hernandez to run onto. He scored the first goal tonight for Chicago, and in the game as a whole. Revs 2 try to counter, it doesn't come off. Far side, Ostrom. Reynolds on the overlap. Casas Jr. picks it up instead. Here's Andreas Euland. Fleming. A push and a chase past Miller. Early ball into the penalty area, but Rodriguez wasn't on the same page, and Jacob Jackson takes charge. Can one of these two find a definitive moment before we potentially go to kicks from the spot? It's a foul against Bayraktarovic. Coach Ludo appears to want to make a couple of substitutions here. First change is going to be Eric Leonard, one of the veterans on this team. He's going to come on for Javier Casas Jr. And the other one, he's a big one, Luca Perpa. He's going to come on. Noah Hernandez, who scored that first goal of the night, exits. Luca Perpa has 3 assists and a goal to his name this season. One of the great attacking midfielders in MLS Next Pro. He's on the pitch. And this ball is threaded through for Misael Rodriguez. Rodriguez goes for goal. It's blocked by Sousa. Fry comes to help in support. Awashi tries to hold off Leonard. It's touched out of play for a New England throw. Just under 15 minutes of the 90 left. Osorio tries to head it down. Kaye under pressure from Perpa, has to be careful here and does get out of trouble. Miller tries to switch the point of attack. It's cushioned all the way back to Miskovic. So many twists and turns in the game already. Still time for much more action to happen here. Miskovic, a little bit of a pickle there, but finds his way out. Osorio slipped in behind by Reynolds. Rodriguez wanted it, and then Perpa made a good run. It's headed back into the penalty area. Kaye tries to shield Perpa away. Perpa's overzealousness sees a free kick conceded. Revs 2 make 2 more alterations. First one is going to see Brandon Bueno come on. Malcolm Fry exits. And Jordan Adebayo-Smith, who scored the second of New England's 2, comes off. Weverton comes on. Then PA makes 2 more alterations to try and get his boys over the line here and get 3 points in their back pocket. They still need a goal to do so. After the tremendous resolve that we've seen from Chicago, playing a man down for a big chunk of this second half. Richard Fleming III pops up with a brilliant equalizing goal in the 62nd. It has us at 2 goals apiece after New England came back from 1-0 down inside of 21 minutes to take the lead. It's Chicago's turn to show the resiliency required.
Exiting the game, number 89, Malcolm Fry.
And now anything can happen from here. Chicago have shown that they can play well and be dangerous with just 10 on the pitch. And we know how capable Revs 2 are. Both teams have brought on some very very good attacking players to try and change the tide. Bueno and Diaz in particular for New England. Luka Perpa for Chicago. And with Misael Rodriguez. Will those be difference-making changes? Osorio leads the press for Chicago. New England finds their way out of it with Kobe Quinones. Near side it comes for Marcos Diaz. Diaz cut out by Leonard, falls for Bueno. Rosansky, forced back, Quinones. They slid around for Sousa. Quinones nearly lost out to Osorio. Cleans up his own mess. Chicago's press is what led to the second goal, and frankly the first goal as well. Can they find another moment? Or is New England going to re-establish the dominance that we've seen for a big chunk of the match, but has since faded? Awashi. More pressure from Osorio. Sousa nearly runs into trouble, but finds Miller on the near side. Once again, Diaz. Space here for Marcos Diaz. Still Diaz. But his shot is nowhere near the target. And with just under 10 minutes left, Chicago will reset. Marcos Diaz is certainly capable of some magical moments. It was a strong drive towards the edge of the penalty area, but not able to come close to hitting the target in the end, unfortunately for him. And Revs 2 try once more to build into the attack. Again, for those that have watched from the beginning, it just feels like there's one or two more twists left for us before a potential kicks from the spot situation could occur if it stays level. Perpa for Euland. Fleming, who's gotten Chicago back to level pegging here 20 minutes ago, scoring a phenomenal equalizing goal. Such a well-struck shot that found the back of the net. Not even Jacob Jackson could keep it out. Talked about the 12 saves that Jacob Jackson had against Red Bulls 2 last time out. Of course, he's coming off an ACL surgery that he had in August of last year, the Revs 2 goalkeeper. Has more work to do here. Osorio's in behind for Chicago. It's Reynolds! And Reynolds didn't get a chance to get the shot away. Crucial defending late on there for Revs 2. It is out for a corner to Chicago. Again, Chicago showing you what they could do. It's a beautiful pass from Perpa. Osorio was begging for the ball. He does receive it. Plays in Reynolds beautifully, and it's a crucial last-ditch tackle to see it go out for a corner. Thomas Schneider on the scene here to make sure things stay tame. Inside the penalty area between Ostrom and Quinones. They exchange pleasantries. Osorio whips the ball in towards Rodriguez. He was headed out of trouble with Jackson trying to sprawl to get to it out of his goal. Perpa. Fleming the third to the byline. Did he keep it in? He did not. It is a goal kick, and Leonard ends up skying the ball anyway. Inside of the penalty area. Would have wanted it back, however, despite the good effort from Fleming the third, he couldn't keep it in. So it is a goal kick for New England with just under 7 minutes left. In a game that still could Could go one of three different ways here. Could go to kicks from the spot. That's still very much in play. Could also see one of these two find a late moment of magic that could be worth 3 very valuable points. Revs 2 trying to stay up with Crown Legacy at the top of the table. Well, Chicago could jump up a couple of spots in the Eastern Conference standings if they can find a late winning goal here. Chicago, as you can see, top left-hand part of your screen, down to 10. They've been down to 10 since the 52nd minute. Noah Egan was sent off. But since then, they've equalized through Richard Fleming III. And now it really could go either way. This is Bayrak Terovic for Revs 2. Slipping it through. It's a lovely little flick. The shot does come in from Weverton, but it's blocked. Lovely layoff from Bueno. Revs 2 now trying to force the issue. Rosansky. Quinones. Out wide it goes. Ball in for Weverton. It goes over everyone's head. And Liskovic is going to be the one that picks it up for Chicago in goal. With 5 minutes and change left. I feel that both teams still are trying to go for this, still trying to find a late goal. And now Charlie Ostrom breaks free on the far side for Chicago. Rodriguez is in the middle. Here comes Perpa. And it's a crucial step by Peyton Miller defensively for New England. And now Chicago could be stretched at the back here. Ball in behind for Marcos Diaz. Weverton's in behind. It's Diaz! Miskovic saves. Weverton tries one. Yulin blocks it. Diaz picks up the pieces. Marcos Diaz into the penalty area, and he's held up before Yulin could clear it. Out it goes for a throw. Both teams having a chance at it here. Diaz went for glory. Miskovic made the save. Weverton followed up, had it blocked. End-to-end stuff here in the final few minutes. Awashi for New England. Can Clint Pierre's boys create a late moment here? Peyton Miller runs onto it. Bueno back out for Calle. Marcos Diaz. Colby Quinones stood up by Osorio. Chicago, I think, have just about everyone behind the ball here. A dummy from Bueno, but Awashi wasn't ready for it. Can Chicago possibly counterattack here, even though they are a man light? Perpa tried to win a free kick. It's not been given. Miller plays on. Weverton wants it. It's weaved through. Weverton shoots. It's blocked out of play. And it is going to be a New England corner in the latter stages here. Can New England edge ahead in these final minutes? They've been so tough to get points from here at Gillette Stadium this season. Ball gets whipped in. Miskovic settles things down for Chicago. Wasn't a bad ball, but Miskovic was the one that reacted the quickest to catch. Now Osorio. And Chicago open things up here on the far side. It goes out wide. Early ball in looking for Rodriguez. And it does hold up just high enough for Jackson to get there after it was deflected. Both teams are not playing for penalties here. They want to win this game. Chicago down to 10, continue to push for for the win. Coach Ludo's boys have to be commended for the way they have fought tonight, especially since going down to 10 men. But this game is still very much up for grabs. There's still a good amount of time left. Sousa. Out wide it goes. Played centrally for Awashi. Possession is held on to Kaye with the help of Bueno. Sees Peyton Miller probing for New England here. Some press from Chicago is broken through. Rosansky runs onto it and lets one fly! And just misses the far post. Out for a goal kick. Oh, Rosansky thought, why not run onto one here? And Miskovic was beaten. It just didn't hit the target. Well, the only time that New England have drawn an opponent at home this season at Gillette Stadium was that late April affair here against FC Cincinnati 2. It finished 5-5. Revs 2 won 5-4 on kicks from the spot to get 2 points. Since then, no one has gotten points off of them here. And Chicago get at least a point here tonight. We are into 3 added minutes at the end of this one. Both teams still have a chance to win the game and get the points. Chicago wins the ball back. Chance for a transitional attack. Osorio is grabbed and held. It's a free kick for the visitors. Coach Ludo telling his boys, settle things down, maybe use a little bit of clock, save a few seconds for a chance or two maybe, but trying to land the telling blow here at Gillette Stadium. Osorio. All the way back it goes for Andreas Uland. Fleming, who got Chicago level. Luca Perpa. Curls one in, looking for Rodriguez. Did it take a touch off of a New England player? It did not. It's a goal kick with 2 minutes left. Again, one last recap of the proceedings. Chicago led inside of 15 minutes through Noah Hernandez. 7 minutes later, Revs 2 took the lead, 2-1. Chicago have since equalized after going down to 10. Is there a late moment left? Miskovic did bundle the ball inside the penalty area, and the last man you'd want to give it to was the man that was waiting for it, Marcos Diaz. Miskovic holds on. Ostrom trying to make something happen. Ball he's given away here. Perpa over the top. Misael Rodriguez, can he keep it in? He can, but can't quite do enough to beat Jackson from there. Very tough ask there for Rodriguez. There's still 55 seconds left. Bueno brings it forward. Can New England have the final say? Rosansky. Awashi. Final moments here. Awashi has his pass picked off, but Weverton keeps it alive. Maybe one last moment here. Bayraktarovic is blocked. Chicago does clear it with 30 seconds of stoppage time remaining. Kaye. Bueno. And that might be the last act. Too close to Miskovic, who secures it and likely secures a point for each side with a point still to play for in kicks from the mark. The ball is sent forward, and that is that for regulation. A thrilling 93 minutes of MLS Next Pro action here. A seesaw affair if there ever was one. Chicago led inside of 15 minutes. 7 minutes after that, New England had completely turned the game on its head and took a 2-1 lead. Then Chicago went down to 10 men in the 52nd minute. But then 10 minutes later, Richard Fleming equalized, and it finishes 2 goals apiece. And now, MLS Next Pro has a unique feature when the score is tied after 90 minutes. Michelle and Samara will tell you more about what's to come.
There are no ties in MLS Next Pro. If a match ends in a tie at the end of regulation, the game will proceed directly to a shootout with kicks from the penalty mark.
That brings us to the point system. Similar to other soccer leagues, a team will earn 3 points with a win at the end of regulation, 1 point for a tie, and 0 points for a loss in regulation. A club will earn 2 points if the game ends in a tie and they go on to win the shootout that Samara just explained following the end of regulation.
Sean St. Jacques back here with you, and again, as the ladies explained, there's still a point to play for both teams here. Chicago have earned a well-earned point here on the road at Gillette Stadium. They will leave with at least one. We now see if they can fight for a second one. Revs 2 have a point as well, and we'll see who will leave with 2 and who will leave with just the 1. Let's recap proceedings one more time, and we'll show you the goals that we've seen already tonight at Gillette Stadium. Again, it was Noah Hernandez who got this game started with a goal in the 14th minute, picking New England's pocket and finishing to score his first MLS Next Pro goal of the season. But then, just a few minutes later, Jack Panayotu in off the post to equalize for New England with a stunning finish there. And then Noah Egan, who's had a rough night tonight, it must be said, short on his back pass, and Jordan Adebayo-Smith pounces on it to give Revs 2 the lead. That was in the 21st minute, but then a stunning finish, first time hit from Richard Fleming III. His second goal in as many games for Chicago. This was 10 minutes after Chicago went down to 10, and Fleming found the net to equalize for Chicago Fire FC 2. It finished 2 goals apiece. Each team gets a point, and we will see who will gain an additional point in kicks from the mark. Looks like we're going to be on the right end of the pitch here for kicks from the mark. Both goalkeepers will certainly be tested here in the shootout. Jackson and Miskovic have made big saves during the game. We'll see if they can do so here in kicks from the mark. Harold Osorio for Chicago. He's going to go first for the visitors here. And again, they do say that it does benefit the team who goes first in these shootout scenarios, but you do have to convert to make the advantage stick. Harold Osorio is Chicago's normal penalty taker. Can he get the shootout started right for Chicago? Up against Jacob Jackson. Harold Osorio converts his penalty. Just the start that Chicago would have been hoping for. They have struggled in kicks from the mark this season. Chicago Fire FC 2. That's how you get it started, with a very, very strong penalty. Now then, one cool customer is followed by another. Marcos Diaz has scored a few times already in regulation from the spot for New England this season. He goes up against Miskovic, trying to level the shootout. Marcos Diaz for New England. He scores. An equally strong penalty from Diaz. And there wasn't really ever any doubt, was there? Just about into the top corner it goes, and it's 1 each after 1 penalty apiece. Next up for Chicago, Enrique Galina. Trying to make it 2 out of 2 for Chicago from the spot. Galina scores. One step into his penalty, and he slots it into the top corner, sending Jackson the wrong way. About as cool, calm, and collected as they come. That penalty. 2-1 Chicago. Revs 2 can equalize the shootout here. A chance for Rosansky. And he scores 2-2. Miskovic thought he was going to get at least a piece of it. Not enough to keep it out. And one of the leaders for Revs 2 converts. And it's 2-2 after 2 penalties each. We begin round 3. And for Chicago, it is going to be Luka Perpa to step up next. 1 goal and 3 assists this season, a midfield maestro for Chicago. And from the spot, he buries his penalty. All 5 of the penalties have been beautifully struck. And not many goalkeepers are saving that, even if Jackson goes the right way. New England will counter with a substitute, Weverton. Just like Perpa came on in the second half. And will try to equalize the shootout at 3 apiece after 3 takes each. Weverton scores. Each penalty better than the last. 3 penalties each, 3 brilliant conversions each. Chicago up next. Misael Rodriguez will take this penalty for Chicago to try and give them a 4-3 advantage in the shootout. Rodriguez has it saved by Jackson. Rodriguez is the first to falter. It was a well-taken penalty. Jacob Jackson gets down and saves it. It was just about in the corner, maybe a little bit too high. But give all the credit to Jackson getting over there and making a huge save. And now this becomes a very big penalty for Peyton Miller to give New England their first lead in kicks from the mark. Oh, it's denied by Miskovic. He answers. Deflecting it off the post. We stay at 3-3. Can anything separate these two tonight? Well, again, Miller, maybe again, good height for the goalkeeper, but Miskovic gets over there and makes the save. And now how about this? Mihailo Miskovic is going to take the penalty. And the goalkeeper has it saved by Jackson. One goalkeeper denies the other, and now New England can win the shootout. Centrally taken penalty, back-to-back saves for Jacob Jackson. And now Bayrak Terovic can win the shootout for New England and add on a second point. He does score. Esmir Bayrak Terovic wins the kicks from the mark for New England. They do get 2 points in the end. But it's Jacob Jackson who's the hero in the shootout with back-to-back saves at the end, including a denial of Miskovic. They exchange pleasantries here. Great sportsmanship between the two. Kicks from the mark continues to haunt Chicago this season. Revs 2, for the second time at home this campaign, they win it on kicks from the mark. Chicago gets 1 point in the end. New England gets 2, and our Adidas man of the match is the Revs 2 goalkeeper, Jacob Jackson comes up with the 2 big saves in the shootout to help New England Revolution to leave Gillette Stadium tonight with 2 points. He first denied Misael Rodriguez after the 2 big saves. But in the end, it was 6 great taken penalties to lead up to this. Jacob Jackson makes back-to-back saves to help New England get over the line with 2 points. And he is our Adidas Man of the Match tonight in Foxborough, Massachusetts. What an enthralling encounter in Foxborough this evening. It was a seesaw affair from start to finish, but Jacob Jackson and New England Revolution 2, after a tie of 2-2 in the 90 minutes, win kicks on the mark by 4-3. They leave with 2 points. Credit to the 10 men of Chicago, they do get a point out of it, but in the end, kicks from the mark halts them once again this season. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques. Once again, the final score from Foxborough: New England 2, Chicago 2 with just 10 men. New England win an additional point from kicks from the mark by 4-3. They leave with 2 points. Chicago leaves with 1. And don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. Good night, everybody. Revs 2 leaves with 2 points. Chicago gets just the 1 here in Foxborough. Another exciting night in MLS Next Pro action. Good night, and we will see you next time on MLSNextPro.com.
This copyrighted broadcast of MLS Next Pro may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcasted without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.